And with that, we're at our question time. I do have to repeat your question, so make it easy on me, because so that way people can hear it online. So with that, are we good to jump into questions? All right, so yes. Well, okay. Yes, which one is it here?
Right there and then right there.
Okay.
I think you may even have seen it.
Okay. All right. So the first question we have, you can go ahead and sit down and I got this, I think. Why should Ozark voters trust that a charter will give us more accountability instead of less? What specific protections for citizens, like stronger recall rules, term limits, or easier petition rights, will be written into this charter before we vote on it in 2027? That's all of your question, I believe, the actual question portion.
Here's my concern, and I'd like an honest answer. Right now, our mayor serves a 2-year term and has to run for re-election. Under a charter, the commission could write the rules to let the mayor serve 4 or even 6 years without facing the voters as often. That would make it easier for the same people to stay in power longer. So, my question is simple. Why should Ozark voters trust that a charter will give us more accountability instead of less? What specific protections for citizens, like stronger recall rules, term limits, or easier petition rights, will be written into this charter before we vote on it in 2027? Because if the current city government is having trouble running things under state law, handing them a blank check to write their own constitution doesn't feel like progress. It feels like less oversight. I'm asking you to convince the people here tonight why this is truly better for everyday Ozark residents, not just for the people already in office. Thank you.
Well, the voters will have to reflect on the concept that a charter is drafted by the people. The charter is something that is drafted by citizens, and they have an opportunity to participate in that process. So if you are very passionate about something that you want, that you believe would give transparency to local government, you can go to those meetings and you can explain that to the drafters, and then they can consider that. And then ultimately, you can, if you feel that that's been addressed in the charter, you can vote for the charter or not. And then there are additional review periods where language like that could be added at a later date when the charter is reviewed. I can't give you specific examples of the protections outside of what I already gave, because ultimately the Charter Commission is going to be responsible for drafting the language. I don't know what they are going to draft. You can review other cities and see what they have in their charters, but largely it's just the structure of government. And we've gone through some of those examples tonight. But the biggest are the initiative, the referendum, and the recall. Those do put the power back in the citizens' control for changing local laws. Okay, so the question is generally, I'm going to summarize it, is generally related to how would a charter impact future issues that were similar to the COVID-19 situation and how local governments responded to that. The charter largely will not address that issue. That there is some state law that has come about related to that, and so a charter city would have to follow that state law as well as a fourth-class city. So in some ways, it won't really impact that. Also, a charter city or a charter is going to largely deal with how the government is structured and not get into very specific issues like that. Do we have other questions? Yes.
Is the sample charter